May the 4th be with you, everyone. Yep, it's that time again. May the 4th, Star Wars Day. And so, what do we cover now? Well, all the Atari games for Star Wars are dealt with, taken over, so we move on to the next console, Intellivision. And with Intellivision, The Empire Strikes Back.
Already, this is different, as it has a title screen, which the Atari system did not have. Intellivision was notorious for these title screens. I am playing this off of an emulated system. I do have an actual Intellivision, but it's currently getting modded to serve for HDMI purposes, and it's taking some time. But player 1, level 1, let's get ready to start. Now, granted, I didn't really get very far in this. If anything, I had a hard time working the controls. The Intellivision had a very unique controller, as it made use of a keypad and a disc at the base. And it makes emulation pretty difficult, as it may not work a good portion of the time. But regardless, the principles of this game are basically the same. You're flying across the icy plains of Hoth, trying to get to the AT-ATs before they destroy your rebel base. And whittle down the AT-ATs, they change color. They also have their little square, which you can destroy them in an instant if you can get to it. But also be careful, as AT-ATs will fire on you. And you just gotta be careful with them. Ooh. Yep. The crash is not really that spectacular. You're just sent down to the ground. And, okay, maybe get the tail end. Yes, I did. AT-AT done. And going on to the next one. Okay, then we get another rear shot here. Come on. And that'd be too late by that time. Yep. And I'm already damaged enough as is. Let's see if we get another repair out of this, or another shot. And down the road. And I crashed to the ground. 3 speeders left. I think I did get an extra life somewhere. Started off with 4. Points or something. Ooh, yep, crashed again. And here we go. Okay, ooh. Okay, I'd say this is the color where you're almost ready to knock it out. Yes! Whittle it down and took out the AT-AT. And repaired, ready to go on to the next one. 2 speeders left. Kind of interesting that these speeders on the life meter kind of match the speeder icon that you're using for the Atari. Of course, on the Atari system, it's the same speeders as well. Destroyed the AT-AT, but you crashed anyway. So, one more. So, yeah, the life icon for the speeders on Atari was the same one for the use of the speeder in the game. Here, these speeders are the same life icon, but they use a different design for the speeder. Interesting choice there. Okay. The AT-ATs are also a little different. They seem to be a little more rounded than the Atari counterpart. And crashed and destroyed. Now, you take a look at the AT-AT on Atari's version, and you compare that to the AT-ATs here. Yeah, these are more rounded. These kind of feel more like a blobby. Then you also got the system and game over. Yeah, they're letting you know that the game's over. And they also don't go into any montages or anything like that of the snow speeder flying across the plains. Game over just means that. Game over.
Graphically, it's different. I mean, when you compare it to the Atari, the AT-ATs are a little more rounded in this, and you get the impression that they are walking more than they're shoveling their feet. And the snow speeders are still the same, at least in terms of the life meter. It's a different speeder design when in combat. I didn't get to the point where maybe the force could be used. The Atari game, to me, feels a little smoother. Still the same game, but I'm used to the Atari. Could I get used to the Intellivision? Maybe. But I felt the game over was like a little abrupt, because it's like with Intellivision, it's like game over and that's it. But like with the Atari, you had a little bit of a screen with the speeder flying around until you reset. So I like the Intellivision game, and unfortunately, in terms of the Intellivision game, that's the only one there that was made for it. No other games were made in terms of Star Wars for the Intellivision. Empire Strikes Back was the only Parker Brothers release. So, what do we do now? Well, we take a look at a little something. I've been trying to experiment a little with video, and trying to make a video with this happen. Unfortunately, I ran into quite a few headaches along the way. There was a white noise issue I could not get around, but I figured I would show what I have, because it does lead to something else happening. And that something else will be revealed a little later.
Really wish I was able to get the sound on this, because then you would have definitely had the full effect on it. But for the most part, yeah, this is just a pinball game. You have two buttons on the side of the console that act as your flippers, and you're basically just going around hitting the ball and trying to, change a lot of the tile, a lot of the squares. Inside the central square, you're to change the color green, red, and also upper tiles green to red, and the sides, make those go away if you hit them enough times. You've got your point score up top and your live score at the bottom. It's you have 7 lives on this. The flippers are pretty big. They refined them, I believe, when you come to Video Pinball for the 2600 and also Midnight Magic. But this was what they had to work with at the time. A fun little game. And when you're not dealing with the white noise, it sounds pretty sweet. I just wish I was able to get around that white noise issue. Then this game could be enjoyed in its full glory. This one is Paddle Pinball. Well, one of the first Paddle Pinball games. The earlier Flipper Pinball was also like a Flipper Pinball 1. But, like I said, it was the first of 2 games. One with the paddle and one with the flipper buttons. This one, you have a paddle knob on the top of the console, and you use that to move the paddle left and right, and use that to bounce the ball around. The paddle definitely comes in handy in later games. As usual, scores up top, lives counter off to the right. Got about 7 lives. Hit the squares on the side, make them disappear. Change the boxes in the center and also up top. It's also a pretty fun game. And again, if you were able to catch the sound, I think you'd probably enjoy it a lot more too. Flipper Pinball 2. This definitely looks like a different animal, except you still control the flippers using the buttons on the side of the console. And yes, bounce the ball around to change the colors, but the format's a little different. Apparently you got green, red, blue, and guess you also got a little something in the center. Score's still up top, lives counter off to the right. Again, well, fun game if you're into pinball. And, well, I guess I never thought I'd say it, but the flippers actually, with them being as long as they are, kind of helps bounce the ball along the ground a little more, especially with those flippers on the ground as they are. Okay, you also make the little squares disappear. I guess they also return when you knock them all out. Another fun little pinball game. You really rack up the score here. I'd say plug this into your console if you come across one and enjoy. Paddle Pinball 2. It tends to operate along the same lines as the flipper game. You're using the paddle knob as well. It's set up pretty much the same, except you're using a paddle and the paddle knob to control it. You're again changing colors, green, red, blue, and then the squares disappear and it starts back over again. Another eye-hand coordination game that I think any game player could have some fun with. Sit back, enjoy, and don't let the white noise get you. Rebound. This is kind of like a version of, well, you're trying to keep a ball in place and knock out those 3 blocks up top. And I'm going to tell you, I have not had the best of luck with this game. Really, I have not. It's try to get a ball bouncing, get the energy up, and take out those 3 blocks up top. It is not easy, and I go through the lives pretty quick in this. So, and I've not been able to get the blocks. Yeah, but you get the hint. But here, going through the levels, and yeah, I just want to try to keep trying on this one. And, well, I got some altitude here. I guess the best thing to equate this one to is hacky sack. Remember that small little sack of a ball you always had to keep in the air? Well, I think the principle of it is pretty much the same, except you also have to knock out those 3 blocks up top, and this really is an eye on the ball game. And yeah, you're using the paddle knob, paddle control. Come on, I think I almost got it. Alright. And this far along, maybe watch me fail spectacularly. Yeah, I gotta go through this pretty quick, and I don't do well. Let's just move on. Breakthrough. Well, it's paddle, and well, it's kind of similar to Breakout, except you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 walls and a gap in the center. So I guess what you're trying to do is get through one wall and see if you can get the ball to bounce through the center and maybe even up top. Okay, here we go. And again, the lives counter is off to the right. I'd say that might be your points. 1 point for the green, and I don't know how many for the red. Let's see, am I able? And of course, the ball moves faster as you go along. Eye-hand coordination, eye on the prize, and again, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. And create a couple of gaps in here. 3. Think I might make to the next one? I don't know. But, come on, let's see if I can get a red. Yes! Ooh. Looks like I really had a score jump right there. So, 7, like 10 points, I guess. Down to the 1s, I guess the 10 for the red ones. And yeah, you keep your eyes open. Ooh. Okay, well, 8 to 10, I guess. Picks up speed, keep going. You have a narrow path through. But now the classic, Breakout. Yes, this one's on the 2600, and it's also spawned Super Breakout. Sears Telegames had this as Breakaway 4 when it came out on the for cartridges on the 2600, or the Sears Telegames, depending how you look at it. But yeah, having Breakout on this with the paddle controller, I can see why they did it. Breakout's one of Atari's classics. So having it here, I think it makes sense. Always try to promote one of your best sellers. And you have your score off to the right. I guess your greens are 1s, and higher you go, the higher your points go. And of course your life counter is off to the right. Not exactly sure what the 0 is for. But 19, 20. And of course the ball picks up as you get speed. And alright. Yep, 4 points on that one. So I'm for the next. The red's probably another 10. As you go, you pick up a console like this. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. This Video Pinball console was definitely worth buying. I just wish I could have gotten around the white noise issue so that you could really enjoy it in all its glory with the sound effects and all. But all in all, definitely had fun playing this game and learning how to bring it to life as best I could for this video.
I liked the Video Pinball console. It had a fun series of games. You had a choice of flippers and a paddle. Breakout, pinball, also Rebound. Little game, hacky set. It's a hacky sack game. I would have loved to be able to get around the white noise issue. Unfortunately, I didn't have the equipment or skills to do that at this time. But it was instrumental to me doing work on something else. I've had this videotape in my closet. I bought it years ago. And as soon as I finished watching it, it went back into the closet. It hasn't come out of the closet since. And maybe I should bring it out now.
For the love of humanity, don't let it out of the closet! For the love of humanity, don't let it out of the closet! Humanity, do not let it out of the closet!
Sorry, but I'm a little pressed for time. So what we're going to review now is the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Ah! Ah!
You don't have to yell. At any rate, here's the tape. Do I have to hold it like this? Yeah, I do. Apparently there are some issues with the Silver Hornet version of the Holiday Special tape. So I'm going to have to resort to a online download and give you a snarky slideshow instead. Enjoy either way.
Well, it starts off with the Falcon seemingly flying away from Tatooine. Harrison Ford, Han Solo, and Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca in a nice little mock-up of the Falcon running from Imperial Star Destroyers also outside of Tatooine. They seem to reuse effects from the film. Didn't Battlestar Galactica do that? Again, starring Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Yeah, not the best picture.
True words never written. Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. R2-D2 as R2-D2. James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader. With Chewbacca's family, his wife Mala, his father Itchy, and his son Lumpy. Also in this is B. Arthur as a cantina owner. Art Carney as a trader among the Wookiee homeworld. Diane Carroll, I believe her name is. She has a special program. The Jefferson Starship. Wonder why they're here. Harvey Korman playing 3 separate roles. And a special animated feature which debuts a character that will make a major impact. On the home world of the Wookiees in their home, Chewbacca's family, his father and his wife, are preparing for his arrival, as well as his son Lumpy. Lumpy just being a regular kid, having some fun outside, even though it is a long way down. He better know what he's doing. Getting bored, he decides to watch a little bit of the Hollow Circus, as Mala is wondering, has her husband arrived? You reach traffic control and no starships in the area. Chewbacca has not arrived. So going to another transmitter, a special secret transmitter. They contact Luke Skywalker, who has R2-D2 by his side, helping repair an engine. They have not heard anything about him, so they contact Trading Post Wookiee Planet C, where Art Carney is doing business with a Imperial officer. And on the 2 Star Destroyers in question, Darth Vader wants the rebels brought to him. Darth Vader is only seen very little, but he is used to great effect. In the meantime, Mala is trying to cook with Harvey Korman while the Empire is after Han and Chewie. In the meantime, the Imperials declare a blockade around the Wookiee homeworld. Although Art Carney is able to make it through to give his Life Day presents, one of them being a special video for Itchy, which he does seem to enjoy. Diane Carroll puts on a good performance here. Mala, however, goes back to the secret transmitter to contact Leia with 3PO by her side, see if Han's arrived. And true enough, he has arrived on the Wookiee homeworld, which looks a lot like Yavin 4. Well, like I said, it worked for Battlestar Galactica. I figured they could try it here. Lumpy hears his father arrive, but are greeted by the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, at this point, my parents believed in a strict bedtime when it first came on. So when 9 o'clock hit, I didn't watch the second half of the special. And since it never re-aired, it would be years before I would watch it. They explained how it would be in the morning. We had no VCR at the time, so I couldn't watch it. But it was my curiosity about this that actually got me to buy this thing. Don't know whether to thank or curse the concept of bedtime. Of course, I was a kid then.
Back to the guards, who are searching for the Wookiees in their home, seeing if Chewbacca has arrived. In the meantime, a guard is sitting in a terminal watching the Jefferson starship perform. I wonder how they got out there. The guard seems to like it, though. Regardless, they have to continue searching for where's Chewbacca, and they manhandle the Wookiees along the way. Lumpy has to sit and watch a animated video to pass the time. An animated video which has a old adventure of Luke and Leia, where they will come across the meeting of Boba Fett, whom Darth Vader says is the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy. He's looking to defriend the rebels to take them back to their new secret base. A little foreshadowing of Empire Strikes Back. We see a little bit of the animation here. I've seen better, but it's a nice, quaint little story. It's fun to watch, and it is on Disney Plus last I saw. The Imperials go into Lumpy's room and ransack it. And they even destroy one of Lumpy's toys in the process. A small little stuffed bantha. While Lumpy sits heartbroken, an Imperial officer goes around and says, "Well, that'll keep him busy." And true enough, it does. Lumpy mourns over his toy and works to put together a transmitter with Harvey Korman playing a human-like android, helping him put it together, although he does have trouble keeping up to power. Hopefully, he helps Lumpy get the job done before he passes out completely. Humanoid droids would be later revisited in Shadows of the Empire. In the meantime, the Imperials are to watch a mandatory broadcast of Life on Tatooine. We see the Creature Cantina again, as I guess the Imperials are supposed to think how much better off you have it on your world. look at how Tatooine has it. We're also treated to B. Arthur running the cantina, and Harvey Korman is back again playing a guy who drinks out of his head. Well, or drinks in his head. Just pours the drinks in him. And the Imperial Guard comes and says, "There is a curfew. The Empire is shutting the cantina down." They give one more round and a nice little song and dance, which B. Arthur is very talented in. This number ends with B and Harvey sharing a nice little romantic number. And then the Imperial Guards get a message: return to base. One trooper, however, is ordered to remain behind and immediately starts terrorizing Lumpy. He has his blaster drawn, which the returning Chewbacca does not take kindly to. Immediately he starts confronting the trooper, who has his blaster drawn, with Han ready to help if required. This was a show that had no blasters, so they had to make do with what they could, and it just wound up with a trooper going over the railing into the forest below. Han and Chewie are reunited with Chewbacca's family, and Chewbacca and the family start to begin their life day, but they have to throw the other Imperials off the scent about the lost trooper. It ends with the customary "May the Force be with you," and the Life Day celebration begins with orbs held up into the sky, and immediately the Wookiees start wearing robes, where they march off to a light which leads to someplace. It actually leads to what the Wookiees consider the Tree of Life, which is where they believe their civilization had grown. And at the end, the Wookiees have one last moment together as a family.
Okay, final thoughts on the special. I felt as a CBS special debuting CBS talent at the time, well, not debuting, showcasing CBS talent at the time, it wasn't bad. The Star Wars name, however, it didn't work. You expected more from it even then, and as much as it might have tried to deliver, it didn't stick the landing. There was a severe lack of budget, and it shows. Use of no blasters. Luke wound up having his lightsaber at the end, but never ignited it. And, of course, the FX came from the movie. The ship combat. I've said before, and I say it again, Battlestar Galactica got away with the same thing. So I guess Lucas thought it would work here. Or CBS did. Let's blame CBS. Yeah, that works for me. Some of it I did like. There was a story behind it, but it was also a little cringeworthy as well. I can understand the reactions that a lot of the original cast felt about this. So, if I were to give this a grade, I'd give it a D. I'm not going to call it a fail. This is a D, almost a D minus. And this may be being a little bit forgiving. One last thing I want to mention. Why the use of VCR if it didn't go anywhere? I mean, I showcased Video Pinball, but I was overcome by white noise issues. I showcased the VHS tape of the holiday special, and I got a distorted picture. Well, I don't call it a total loss. I found out that with consoles, I may have to look at another audio source to record audio if I make use of the VCR trick again. I just have to determine what that is. And also, transferring some VHS tapes to a computer disc does not always mean you'll get a good signal. But through this, I acquired a skill. I learned how to take VHS recordings, VHS tape, and transfer them to a computer to make use of for video editing. Every time you try something new, every time you try to expand your repertoire, you pick up a skill, you learn something. And that is something you can stick away from making better videos down the road. Any knowledge you gain in making your videos is always a valuable asset. It can always come in handy at a later time. You never know when you might need to do another VHS recording. And who knows, I might come across another old school console where the white noise is not an issue. All I can say is you're going to take some lumps, but come out a little taller after you've taken your hits. Till next time, and may the 4th be with you. Want to recommend your own game to be reviewed? Check me out on X and Instagram. Also, leave a comment below, and don't forget to leave a like. See y'all next time. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Also, check out the links to other videos as well.